good y'all? Welcome to my review for this week's episode of the 1,000-Year Blood War Anime Man. What an episode, Bazz-B versus Haschwalt. Although, to be fair, it wasn't as much of a fight. It was mostly his flashbacks for this episode. Not that I'm complaining, it was good shit, but I was kind of shocked to see how short the fight actually was. I was meant like, the fight to be, the episode. These were two of the stern. This was gonna be a battle, and then Hostile just one shots him basically. He makes quick work of Bond, which I guess was kind of the point, because as we find out later on the episode that he is the other half of Yuha. Apparently. Now, the episode itself, man, was fantastic. Like I said, this episode was predominantly a lot of flashbacks and like learning about Bazz-B and Haschwalt's origins, their relationship, which I'm sure this episode the Fujoshis are gonna be shipping them like it's gonna be going out of style. So like, oh my god, they're perfect, yeah, they do, yeah, so annoying. But anyway, guys, besides that, the episode itself was phenomenal. We had Yuki Sato in the episode once again. There's like 2 cuts in there. I haven't checked if there's been any like announcement of like which cut was whose, but there's like 2 cuts in the episode which I'll talk about when we get there. That I think that was probably one of the 2 were her cut. Maybe she did both. I don't fucking know. But yeah, and then you guys could like watch this back, or I can look back and then I'll see if I was right or not. But yeah, Yuki Sato was on the episode, man. The art animation, man, was phenomenal. It was no crazy sacrifice. There was a lot of really good shots and some really solid animation, some really detailed drawings, some really good backgrounds as well, man. The art animation of this episode looked fantastic. And I also feel that probably a good chunk of this episode was anime original content with Bazz-B and Haschwalt's origins. Now, this could have been from the original manga as well. I don't know. Like, these guys know I'm an anime only. So I don't know, but I had a feeling that this was probably a manga anime original content. Although either way, man, we got to see the cute Quincy girl again. Yay! That's part of Yuha's squad. We also got to see her in full color this time, so we know what her hair looks like and everything, man. She looked great, man. Like, she only got like one good shot where you can get a where she's like where you can actually see her. The rest is she's like in the background. But it was nice to see her again, man. Seriously, cool. Can we get like a spin-off one-shot chapter about her, man, or something, man? Can you like do some drawings of her, man? She's really cute, man. I think we need to see more of this woman. Cool. You only need money on the table, my friend. But yeah, man, this episode is phenomenal, man. Also, one of the things I want to talk about real quick before we jump right into the episode proper is, since this is like the first video that or like technically the second, if I did the reaction before this, man, but the first that's going to be going up since this happened. But as some of you guys may have noticed, we just hit 500 subscribers on the channel, ladies and gentlemen. It almost took us damn near a decade to do it, but hey, we moved, man. But to be fair, like a lot of those early years were me just fucking around with you before I finally figured out what I was gonna do. And recently we've been having I've been getting some really good growth of the channel, so I'm happy about that. But yeah, man, jokes aside, man, just thank you guys so much for everything, sticking with me. Whenever you were like one of the OGs when I was doing this purely as a gaming channel, you came in during the early days when I first started doing anime reviews for Hiroaka and AOT. You came later on down the line, man, when I started to really improve my content in 2018. Whenever, or if you're a new guy that just came here, like from season 7 or something. Whenever you guys came in there, man, thank you guys so much for rocking with me, for supporting the channel, man, watching the vids and all that jazz, man. I would like to do a Q&A to celebrate the occasion, so if I get enough questions, put them there. I did make a tweet saying that I was going to be doing a Q&A, so if you guys want, you guys got any questions, want my hot takes or something or whatever, leave them down below, put them in the comments of this video, man. I'm probably going to make a community post as well, so I can put them there as well. But yeah, hopefully if I get enough questions, I can do a video, I can do a Q&A for you guys. If not, I don't think I'll just stream something instead. But yeah, man, thank you guys so much for everything, man, and yeah. Anyway, now on to the actual episode. So we start the episode off with a flashback back to Haschwalt as a kid. No lie, low-key looking like Robin Hood with the shirt and everything, man. All he's missing is the hat with the bow and arrow he's got going on there, man. So he's out there hunting rabbits. I also gotta say the backgrounds here, man, look really fucking good for this area. I don't know where exactly they are, because at first I thought that they were like in like some other area part of the Soul Society. Because, Soul Reapers and all that jazz, and Quincy's and Spirits and all that jazz. But later on they say they're going to invade the Soul Society. So unless they're in a different part of the Soul Society, but invading the larger part of the Soul Society where like the Soul Reapers are, they are in a completely different location. I don't know if they're on the world of the living, this is some other plane of existence, like Waco Mundo or something. I'm not entirely sure. Like I said, guys, I am not a Bleach lore guy, so I don't know. I don't know if this has even been mentioned before. It probably has. I just don't remember. Maybe one of the earlier cores or earlier on in the series. But either way, this area that they're in looks amazing. I gotta say, the backgrounds here look really fucking good. But anyway, as I say, Haschwalt is hunting a rabbit, but ends up missing, and the rabbit gets away. But then Bazz-B goes in there and finishes him off with his Quincy bow, which is actually a crossbow, which I'm pretty sure this is the first time we've actually seen it. I could be wrong though, but I'm pretty sure this is the first time we've actually ever seen Bazz-B's bow. Because every other time he was fighting, he was fighting up against Toshiro and everything, man, he was just using his fire. So, I could be wrong on that one, but I think this is the first time we've actually seen it. And I gotta say, bro, Kid Bazz-B's design, man, oh my god. This dude out here dressed like a fucking Roman soldier from Sparta. He got the armor, he got the cape, he got the fucking helmet, man. He got everything, bro. Logan kind of looks ridiculous, but he also kind of rocks it anyway. So he's like kind of asking the kid who he is. He's out there boasting about his greatness. He asks if he's Bazz, and then Bazz tells him, like, you want the great Bazz to introduce himself first? No, you do it, you white leak face. He also calls him pathetic, and of course, Haschwalt introduces himself. Which I gotta say, man, Kid Haschwalt, man, this kid looks fucking depressed, man. This kid just looks dead inside. I mean, to be fair, adult Haschwalt isn't much better. To be fair, he always kind of has like this stoic, I don't know, resting bitch face, I guess you want to call it or whatnot, man. He just looks always just kind of bored, but he looks like really bad when he's a kid. But then again, given the bruising and what we see later in the episode, there's probably a good reason why Haschwalt is like this, which we'll talk about once we get to that part of the episode. Anyway, we then cut over back to the present where Bazz-B and Haschwalt have finally met up. They have some small talk where he's asking where Bazz-B, I feel like, aren't you going to ask me how I'm still alive? Then Bazz-B just rushes right towards him. This is where I think Yuki Sato's cut might have been. There's also another part later in the episode that I think that could have been her as well, but I think this might have been Yuki's cut. I could be wrong though, but I think this was her cut. So he uses Burning Finger 1, but Haschwalt grabs his arm, jumps up into the air, covering Bazz-B in his cloak, before, like, when he starts to get out there, he's like, Haschwalt then just pulls out his sword a bit, and then just hits him with, like, with the hilt of his sword, which looked really good, before Bazz-B goes in there and uses fire to burn Haschwalt's cloak. But once again, Haschwalt dodges the attack, and then he's back to staring each other down. And so this is when Haschwalt realizes this is from the Asuelen, if I'm pronouncing that right. And he says, so you weren't chosen? He's like, bro, everyone that was below wasn't chosen. They were all wiped out. You knew this, didn't you? And Haschwalt says that, or he apologizes first, but then Bazz-B accuses him of knowing it the entire time. He says, even if I did, why would I bother saying anything? Would you believe if I told you I did? He said, sure, we've known each other for years. But he ends up not saying that. Do I think he actually knew? Probably. I mean, Haschwalt is Yuha's right-hand man, so there's a good chance he probably knew that the Asuelen was going to take care of all the other Quincy, or maybe he was just as oblivious as everyone else. So as they continue onward, he calls him Bazz-B, then then Bazz-B tells him to call him Bazz, like old times. Then he uses Burning Finger 2. The fire effects for this episode, man, looked fantastic as well, I have to say, man. Haschwalt starts to push out his sword a little bit, and then we see, like, the sun or whatever is the light source of this new era that they're occurring. Because I don't know if this place has a sun or if some other somewhere else is getting this light source. Whatever the case may be, we see the light pan through the room that they're in before they're both covered in darkness. As Bazz says that once his Majesty sleep, you and him will swap power. I'm going to kill His Majesty's power along with you, the traitor. Before we fade out to a burning building with a young Bazz-B watching on. Now, at first, I thought Bazz-B was the one that started this fight, or not Bazz-B, Haschwalt was the one that started this fight. But as we learned during the episode, it was just the Quincy army invading this place and just, burning it to the ground. And then they continue fighting, and you got Haschwalt running across the wall like he's fucking Sonic. Before we head back to the flashback to when they were kids, to where Bazz-B is following Haschwalt. And Haschwalt, that's why he keeps following him, man. He says, isn't it obvious a pathetic kid like you could never catch anything? So that's why he's following him. And also, this was around here where Haschwalt mentions that he can actually create the, Heiling Bogen, if I pronounce that right, which I guess is like the actual, proper term for the Quincy bows, I would assume. So yeah, he cannot do that. As we learned, I think this is also around here, but it might have been mentioned later in the episode that he cannot summon, or like absorb Reishi at all. The dude's basically a human. Basically, he's a Quincy, but has none of the Quincy powers until we find out what he actually has, of course, later in the episode. He also calls himself pathetic, and this is when Bazz-B tells him he's not pathetic, and that the only reason he's able to conjure a bow is because he's a genius. Nobody else that's our age can do it. Do any of your friends do it? And he says he hasn't seen him any, so he wouldn't know. And then this is when Bazz-B asks him if he'll stop calling him Jugo, and he asks him why, and he asks him what his parents call him. He says, I don't live with my parents, I live with my uncle. He's like, okay, what do your uncles tell? What does your uncle call you? He's like, I don't have to tell you, and just tells him to leave him alone. Which, given the fact that this is when Bazz-B starts to notice all the bruising on his arms, it makes me think that whatever he calls his son is not very, how do we say, PG. Let's just end that. Which also, guys, one other thing I wanted to quickly mention, because I forgot to mention at the start of the video. As you guys know, day 2 of Jump Fest is today. And this is where basically all the shows, all the stages for the shows that I care about is going to be today. We got the Hero stage, we got the Bleach stage, and we also got Blue Exorcist getting a stage as well. Hero and Blue Exorcist are both on the red stage, while Bleach is on the blue stage. Now, Hero, you guys are going to be getting a reaction for that, assuming I can actually upload it without the video getting blocked worldwide. Because last year it did go up, but then the video got blocked worldwide anyway. I should wait till like a few days, if not a week later. So, you guys, when that video drops, if it actually go through, y'all better watch it quickly. Although I might do a backup on Google Drive, post it like the Hero subreddit for anyone that wants to, watch it back and then didn't end up catching it. Bleach, maybe, depending on what it shows, I might do a video on that one. I'll probably just be reacting to it through James' stream of it, because I'm assuming he'll be streaming it. If not, maybe he'll be there in person. I'm not sure. But, so yeah, we might do a Bleach. Blue Exorcist, that leads right into Tsunami, so that one I'm just going to record and watch it back on my own time, so that probably won't get a video. So yeah, Hero you guys are definitely going to get one, assuming it goes through without getting blocked worldwide, so I upload it. Bleach is maybe, well, Blue Exorcist, I'm not going to do a video on that, but I will definitely obviously watch it, because I'm sure it's going to have new details about the second core of Season 4, which we already got we already got the key visual for it, man, which looks incredible. Seriously, man, Blue Exorcist has been cooking with their key visuals, man. They have never missed with their key visuals. These last 2 months have been, like, honestly, 2 of the greatest key visuals that I've ever seen, man, if I'm being honest with you guys. But, yeah, just want to give that, guys, a quick update for you guys that are wondering about Jump to Fest today. If you guys were wondering about, I was going to cover it all. There you go. But anyway, he starts walking away. He says, I gotta catch a rabbit before I have to catch a rabbit. So then Bobby Lou just throws the rabbit at the back of his head that he just killed. He literally just throws a dead animal at him. And he tells him that he can have it, that he doesn't hunt eat, so he only does it just to show off how great he is. He then takes off one of, like, the pins or whatever that's on his, chest piece, his chest armor piece he's got on, takes off one of them and just then flips it over like flip a coin over to Haschwalt. The animation on that like coin flip thing he did, man, looked really fucking good, I gotta say, man. So that's when he finally takes his lead. This is when we are finally introduced to Haschwalt's uncle. Now we don't see what the dude looks like, man. We just get some chest chest shots of him, some close-up on, but we never get a clear look at him. And the look on Haschwalt's face, the deadness, his eyes looking completely dead, I feel like tells the whole story. And the fact he says, you can't do anything without me, my precious Jugo, which is probably why he doesn't call him Jugo, because his uncle calls him Jugo. And listen, to be fair, I could be completely overanalyzing this. I could be looking way too deep into this, man. But as you guys know, I just finished watching Joker Filet of Dew last week, and spoiler alert for the film, Arthur gets raped, or at the very least, it's heavily implied that he gets raped by the security in Arkham Asylum. So, and the look he was given there when he was thrown back into solitary confinement is like the exact same one that Haschwalt is giving on, man. Which makes me think that his uncle rapes him, that his uncle molests him, which is definitely not on my Bleach Core 3 bingo card. To see sexual assault see molestation of minors be heavily implied in the anime, man, which, like I said, I could be completely wrong. He just beats him, but it makes you think that's a little bit more sinister than that, man. And I don't know, man, why is it, and it's always uncles too, man. It's always uncles that are like molesting kids in like movies. Like, you got this, Split. I'm sure there's a shit ton of other movies I'm forgetting about with like that characters that were molested or subplots about them, man. Why is it always uncles, man? Hashtag not uncle, all uncles are rapists. But yeah, man, so yeah, that was but shout out to his Uncle Satan. The dude sounded creepy as hell, especially when he says kawaii Zuko, like ugh. That shit was giving me the heebie-jeebies, man. So shout out to him. Anyway, this is when we cut back to the present, to the fight. Haschwalt, that's something he wants to take outside because he doesn't want to damage the rest of the castle. Bazz-B ain't having all that, and he starts fighting, and he hits Burner Finger 3. Fire effects, once again, looks absolutely fantastic. Bazz-B conjures up his bow. They kind of like stare at each other for a bit before we jump back over to the past, where we see the actual destruction of his castle by Yuha's army. Now, we see Jugo next to a woman. I assume this is his mother, but it could be someone else, maybe another maybe perhaps the queen of this clan, man, what's interesting to learn that Quincy's also have, like, clans, like, in the Soul Society. I'm assuming they function the same as, like, the royal families or clans in Bleach, like Yoruichi's family, the Issei family, which, you know, now, I'm sure there's other characters, I'm forgetting, like, the dude that is also, that's a Suifon's lieutenant. I know he's part of some, like, royal family. That's the only reason he's actually a lieutenant. Good old nepotism right there, man. But yeah, so that's a little interesting bit of lore to learn. But Bazz-B witnessed all this cars going on there, all of this like former comrades or like, you know, I guess clansmen are all getting gunned down. We get to see the baddie Quincy, which is what I'm gonna call her until we get an official name for this woman. I'm just gonna call her the Quincy baddie. So we get to see her just like straight up headshotting his mother, whoever this woman is, blowing off her head completely, man. It was pretty nasty, man. Right in front of Bazz-B. Before he then runs behind a rock, as we actually see Yuha walk into the battlefield. And key animation on like the close-up on Bazz-B looks fantastic, by the way. And then we see Yuha pass him by. Now we know with Yuha's eyes, the dude can see everything. He can see every possible future that there is, which makes me think that there's a good chance that Yuha saw Bazz-B hide behind that rock, but just didn't feel the need to kill him or really acknowledge him, really, so just let him go. That's at least my feeling. So then we cut over to like the aftermath of that, where both Bazz-B and Haschwalt are that basically just raiding the castle. I'm assuming to get like whatever valuables they can get to, you know, sell it off, get gold, and, you know, be on their way on their quest to defeat and kill Yuha. We also see this is where Haschwalt found his sword. This is where he finally got his sword. We also found from Haschwalt that his forest was burned down and his uncle died in the fire. So he's all alone as well. So he is going to be along for the ride with Bazz-B on their quest to kill Yuha. We then get a quick montage of them training and everything, man. Once again, Haschwalt's going off about how that he's useless, he's pathetic, he can't, you know, control Reishi. Also, if you guys notice, he definitely his face looked a lot more pleasant now after his possibly rapist uncle died, and, you know, he's with Bazz-B and everything, man. Like, I kind of dug they had a nice little friendship repertoire going on there before, of course, it all went to shit anyway later on the run. Which, like I said, I'm sure the Fujoshis are going to be going crazy over this shit. Whatever the case may be, man. But yeah, I kind of dug this, man. I dug the little friendship they have going on here, man, what we saw through these flashbacks. But anyway, as I was saying, Bazz-B says he's going to train him to learn how to bow, which he never ends up doing it. Then we cut over back to Yuha, where we find this is where we see him we return in the beginning stage of creating the Stern Raiders to invade the Soul Society. Like I said, we get another montage here. It's been like 5 years where they're continuing on training. Bazz-B looks great, man. We also see him like dual wielding his bows, man, which is pretty cool, man. Haschwalt, man, I'm not gonna lie, man. Like, he kind of pulls off this outfit pretty good, but at the same time, it looks kind of ridiculous, man. Like, why do you got a turtleneck with no sleeves, man? Like, with this little shoelaces or lace or whatever in the front half and like the front of it, man. Like I said, he kind of pulls it off, man. But with it being sleeveless turtleneck with the glove, it also kind of looks ridiculous at the same time. But then we get another beautiful shot of the show. Listen, the backgrounds, whoever did the backgrounds, I don't know if they had some of the Vinland Saga, you know, background animators work on this episode, man. And that's why they look so damn good, because you guys remember, Vinland Saga had some truly breathtaking backgrounds with his visuals with the forest and everything, man. And I think AOT season 4 was like this as well when Mappa had it as well. But this looks truly like I don't know if they brought in some of those animators for this episode, man, or Perry got their own guys, man, or whatever the case may be. But either way, this shot where we see Bazz-B get out of the tent while it's snowing, and as we see Haschwalt training with his sword, man, just looked absolutely breathtaking. And the shot looked incredible. While Bazz-B mentions how he noticed that Bazz-B that Haschwalt rather was not really going to be any much of a benefit to him on his quest to kill Yuha. But given the fact how he saw how much harder he was training than he was, he couldn't bear to get rid of him. He couldn't bear to ditch him. So then we cut over to when we see Yuha's army arrive into this village, announcing that they're going to be creating a new unit called the Sturmritz to invade the Soul Site. Bazz-B, of course, jumps right in there, man, to announce that he and Haschwalt want to enlist into this unit. And the dude who I'm pretty sure is the Nazi guy that we saw in Waco Mundo from Core 1 that Ichigo beat. I think it's the same guy. It could be a different Sturmritter. He just kind of looks like him, but I think it's the same dude. Basically tells him to fuck off. He does not care. He's like, you will be notified, but I don't expect nobodies like you. Bazz-B, not wanting to be disrespected, fires an arrow right in front, be like, hey bro, we ain't fucking done yet, man. And like the look on Haschwalt's face, the man is actually horrified by this after Bazz-B does this, man. So then he calls him a monkey under his breath, and that is when the Nazi comes down from his horse, ready to be like, alright, looks like you'll learn from your incompetence you won't learn your incompetence until you die. So man's ready to throw down. He also mentioned that, hey, if you feel bad, I'll also take down your Haschwalt with you. This one we finally get a good look at the Quincy baddie, and we found that she actually has blonde hair with some blue highlights. I swear to God, I've seen another anime character or someone else with a similar hairstyle where it's blonde but it has some like blue highlights or blue tips to it. I don't know where it's from, but I swear to God I've seen this hairstyle on some other anime characters as well. Either way, man, she looks amazing. Kubo, can we please get a spin-off with this chick? Give me a spin-off chapter, an episode, an OVA. I do not care. I want to know more about this woman, please. And please also put her in a swimsuit as well. Arigato gozaimasu. There's a man. She bad. She bad as hell. Anyway, that's unfortunately the last appearance of the Quincy bad in this episode, and maybe even the entire series, because I don't know if we're going to get any more appearances of her in Core 4. It'd be nice. That'd be nice if we got an extra appearance in Core 4. Man, I thought we were going to get to see her again after that one episode in Core 2. But we were blessed with an extra episode in Core 3, so hopefully we can maybe get one more look at her in Core 4. But we shall see. We shall see. Anyway, guys, so they're ready to throw down there, and they start to rush towards each other, and then Bazz-B is then thrown right to the ground as he starts vibrating and shaking, where we see Yuha Pierce. So if we finally got to see the spiritual pressure thing where the camera shakes everything, kind of, well, this time it's just Bazz-B, by which you know, in retrospect, Noriyuki Abe has been very heavily criticized in retrospective by Bleach fans nowadays. Mostly, you know, a good chunk of them being, especially from Ichihime's, obviously with him constantly shoehorning in Ishiruki whenever he got the chance to. All with throwing like lowering Orihime's importance and everything, man, cutting her down, man. You know, all that is. We know his history with Ichiruki and Ichihime. But if there's one thing that I think even everyone can agree on that Noriyuki Abe was cooking with, and this is definitely the one thing I've missed from him being the director since Taguchi's taken over with the Blood War, is I miss when we got to see the spiritual pressure with the camera shaking and everything, man. It was so fucking cool, man. I wish we got to see that in the Blood War as well, but we really haven't outside of this one scene. It's not in the camera itself isn't even shaking or nothing. The screen isn't shaking. We don't see the lines and everything, man, which does kind of suck. That's like the one thing I really do miss from Noriyuki Abe's direction of Bleach back since Taguchi's taken over with the Blood War, man. That's like the one thing I had missed, man. So, and we also get to see like other people also be affected by this as well, outside the Nazi. Like I said, it was cool that we got to see a little bit. I wish it was like done in full force, the camera shaking and the screen, with the lines and everything, man. That would just been perfect. Anyway, the dude takes it and he says, "Forgive me, Your Majesty." And Yuha says that he's coming, that he's just here to collect something, and he's looking for his right-hand man. Bazz-B, he slowly starts to get up there against Yuha's spiritual pressure, saying that I'm him. I will be your right-hand man. So he's fully thinking that he is going to be his right-hand man. But Yuha goes right past him and towards Haschwalt, saying that I have finally found you, Jugram Haschwalt. You are my other half. We get the commercial cards, which once again look amazing this week with Bazz-B as well as Haschwalt, man. They looked absolutely incredible. And so of course, Haschwalt is absolutely flabbergasted by this news. He has no idea what's happening, man. He's like, we were both supposed to do it, so then he looks over at Bazz-B, asks him what to do. Bazz-B is like angry, pissed off, confused, shocked, various emotions that you can read off his face, but he definitely is not happy. He is not happy by this revelation whatsoever. And I also love the story. The storyboard in this episode was fantastic, especially here, man. The storyboarding was excellent, man. I love the shot of Bazz-B where I love the shot of Bazz-B where it's questioning like why Haschwalt was chosen, and they like messed with the depth of field going on there, man. It looked amazing. This was one of my favorite shots in the episode, honestly, man. Some nice close-ups of some nice close-ups of Haschwalt's eyes, man. He says, "Stop that, Bazz-B. Why are you looking at me like that? Why aren't you happy for me, man?" Great sequence, man. I don't know who directed this episode, man. Whoever directed this episode, they cooked. They cooked. So he tells one of the other Quincy's to fetch his carrots, so he's going to bring Bazz-B with, not Bazz-B, Haschwalt. Bazz-B, wish it was him. Haschwalt back over to his castle to, of course, entrust and induct him into the Stern Readers. And so Haschwalt, he's shocked by this. He started to question Yuha. Said he's made a mistake, that Bazz-B would be the one that would be better suit for him. And so say what you. So Bazz-B is pissed about him being not chosen, but at least give Haschwalt credit that he at least tried to sell you to he at least tried to give you to sell you to him. And he once again continues on like I'm not the one you should be an advisor. The Nazis once again piss and be like, how dare you question Yuha? And so this is when Yuha explains that this is just as nice for so he doesn't know his true power. That the reason he cannot create a bow is because he's like him, a Quincy with the power to share powers. And he's like, no, and he mentions, of course, the Quincy has been like that, has been born over 200 years, blah, blah, blah. We then once again go back over to Bazz-B as we get flashbacks to everything that's happened up to this point, projected onto his face, which once again looked phenomenal, man. The storyboard of this episode was absolutely incredible. And so then he looks over to Bazz-B and asks him, surely you felt your power growing by the day when you were around Haschwalt. Did you really think that was just your talent? So, yeah, Yuha just destroys this man's whole career just like that, man. So he puts his hand on Haschwalt's head and starts to walk away with him. Bazz-B starts charging up has his massive aura around him like he's about to turn Super Saiyan, pulls out his bow, fires it, but then Haschwalt catches it, smash cutting over to the present where Yuha once again catches his arrow, man. You gotta love a good smash cut, man. I love me a good smash cut. So this was awesome. And I also love how they fade back to Haschwalt when he was back as a kid, catching the arrow before going back to the present day. Looked absolutely phenomenal, man. And so as they start to finally get outside, just as Haschwalt wanted, he tells them that fighting will not benefit His Majesty at all. And Haschwalt and Bazz-B reminds them here to kill him. He once again sets up another fire attack, dodges the attack, and before he goes into one of the lower levels. Before we are then once again taken to another flashback. This is basically this would take place after the events of the Quincy invasion of the Soul Society when they fought up against the original Goatee 13. And of course, where Yuha dies. Where it seems like at this point, man, first of all, now Haschwalt has a hat now going with his Quincy garb, which also he pulls off that hat, looks really good, man. That hat looks really good on him. But it seems like he was made captain or like the head of the Stern Raiders unit, and while they were waiting for Yuha to make his return in like 900 years, whatever. You guys know the whole thing. And Bazz-B is trying to face Haschwalt in a duel. But Haschwalt wants a part of it. He mentions that, that invite between Stern Raiders is punishable by death, so he just walks away. We then see the Nazi Quincy once again, show up. He's ready. He recognizes that that's Bazz-B from the monkey from earlier and tries to challenge him to a fight. And then Haschwalt reminds him that it's punishable with death. He's like, "Oh, come on, man, no one's watching. His Majesty won't know." And then Haschwalt tells him, "I'm watching." So that keeps him in line. We get some narration from Bazz-B where we find out that it took him 3 years to join the Stern Raiders and that he was already commander of them. But he questions whether or not he was always the commander, but he wasn't there, so he wouldn't know. We also get to see this wide shot of when they see him coming in there, man. I'm not gonna lie, this CGI looked kind of bad here. I'm not gonna lie. This is probably the one time the CGI didn't really look all that great for this shot where you just have a bunch of the Stern Raiders just all lined up together. Didn't look that good, I'm not gonna lie. So then Bazz-B charges in there, ready to unleash his final attack against Bazz-B. We get some more, or Bazz-B to do it on Haschwalt. We get more rage where we once again try to get into to face him, but every time Bazz-B or Haschwalt would always just ignore him and not challenge him. So then he goes for the final attack, and then that's when Haschwalt just chops his fucking arm off, man. And the animation here from it's flaying up the stairs into like one of the pillars, man, looked insane. This is where I think that this might have also been Yuki Sato's cut. This whole sequence here, right here, where he tries to once again fire and everything, man. This is where I think this might have also been Yuki Sato's cut, but this could have been somebody else. If I was a betting man, I would probably say the one at the start of the episode was probably Yuki's cut, not this one, but. Judging from the way the characters moved, it definitely kind of fits her MO, so I think this might have been her cut as well. Or she did both. Who knows? I don't know, but if I was a betting man, I would go for, my guts tell me the first one was her. Watch, I'm completely wrong in some other sequence, and that was actually hers. Whenever it gets revealed that that was you, whichever one was Yuki's cut. But anyway, he then hits the burning full fingers, and this is when Haschwalt deals the killing blow. Key animation here looked absolutely insane as we see Bazz-B slowly just walk towards to Haschwalt, which I'm kind of surprised he was able to keep his balance, how much he's leaning forward, if I could just like fall over. But he grabs onto his coat as he tells him that things never seem to work out as I expected. I thought I'd feel worse losing to you. And the key animation, we get that close up on Bazz-B's face right before he dies, man. Oh, good God Almighty, looked absolutely incredible. Which, by the way, guys, I saw a tweet, and this episode was actually directed by Chen Daili, if I'm pronouncing his name, who you guys remember did the first Mayuri episode. He was also the key. He also did the animation on Orihime's Jigofuzu, so arigatou gozaimasu. And the storyboard artist for this episode was Toshiyuki Suru, if I'm pronouncing his name right. So there you go. So he then climbs up the stairs. We get some flashbacks, some narration from Kid Bazz-B, what he was telling him that will become the strongest Quincy's. And then we end the episode off with Bleach 38, where we close up on Bazz-B as we see both current Bazz-B as well as Kid Bazz-B say Jugo as he finally sheaths his sword completely. Friend, I love the way it was done where the FRE is in white while the end part is in red. I don't know, it's a nice touch as well. And ladies and gentlemen, that is where the episode ends, man. Phenomenal episode of Core 3, man. Core 3 has just been so good, man. They have just been cooking non-stop with Core 3, man. We got next week will be an hour-long special. The reason we are getting an extra episode instead of the usual 13, which I don't know if this is like the confirmed reason, but this is at least what DPC Enron posted, and it makes sense because you guys remember the last episode of Core 2 was a comedy whole thing with Cone, and the first episode of Core 3 was just flashback to the final episode of Core 2. So basically, to make up for the lost time of an entire episode collectively, we're getting an extra episode of Core 3. So makes me think that probably back to Core 3 or Core 4, excuse me, we'll be back to the usual 30 episodes. The next week will be a 1 hour special of the last 2 episodes, just like usual, man. We'll probably get a special key visual at Jump Festa during the Bleach panel, which I'm waiting on that. That's also where World's End is, because of course the pay-per-views airing on the week where I have to do double episode reviews. But hey, we move. I can't catch a fucking break. At least that'll be the last thing I worry about, because then, Dragon Ball Daima on Friday, so all I gotta worry about is SmackDown then. But anyway, guys, overall, I was originally going to give this episode actually a 9.5, but honestly, after rewatching it, man, and recording the review, fuck it. This episode gets a 10 out of fucking 10, ladies and gentlemen. As always, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow my social if you feel like it. Links to the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.